the CZ Shadow 2 Orange.
Woo! The smooth puppy right here. Look at this. This gun is, it's too good. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Concealed Carry channel. I'm Grant McLean. Today we have an awesome review for you of the CZ Shadow 2 Orange. Very excited to share with you our findings with the CZ today.
This gun is, it's too good.
Before we jump into things, I want to say thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to be a Patreon supporter, go into the description below. You can find a link there, and it'll take you to our Patreon page, and you can help support the channel in whatever's comfortable. Of course, we do have the Beyond the Black Shirt subscription to be able to get exclusive content beyond what we show here on the Concealed Carry channel. Going beyond the black shirt.
It's nice.
And entries in for our quarterly giveaway, so check that out. Of course, if you need to get a gun, visit nwarmory.com. Northwest Armory is a big supporter of the channel, so make sure to check them out. If you need to get a gun, they will ship it to your local FFL, or you can do an in-store pickup. I also want to say thanks so much to X-Hunt Targets. If you need to get some awesome reactive targets, visit xhunttargets.com. Let's go ahead and jump into the unboxing portion of the review so you can see what it's going to be like if you were to go to the store and buy this gun. When you buy this gun, it is going to come in this gigantic case. It's surprisingly large. Let's pop this open. There you are. It's very well organized. We'll start with what's at the top here, and you have your manual, you have a little warranty card, and your lock. You're going to get quite a bit of stuff with this gun. So we'll start off at the top here. You get a nice little bottle of lube. You'll get some extra recoil springs, firing pin spring. You're going to have your CZ bushing tool. You're also going to have 2 extra main springs. And you have a baggie of buffers. So you get some extra replacement pieces and tuning pieces. Nice little tool there. You also will have a cleaning rod for your gun and a total of 3 17-round magazines. So this model here does not have the extended base plates. It has the more flush fit base plates there that are going to be 17 plus 1 in the chamber if you choose to carry it that way. Let's jump into the specs here real quick of this gun if you're not too familiar with it. So this is a CZ75 Shadow 2 Orange. The orange is, versus say like the ones with the blue handle, is their higher end version of the Shadow 2. This is a full-size gun. It is metal on metal. It is fairly heavy. We'll talk about the weight here in a second. It's chambered in 9mm, and it's a double stack, 17 plus 1, as I mentioned earlier, and you're going to get 3 of these 17-round magazines. The barrel length on this is 4.8 inches. The overall length is 8.5 inches. The height is 6.1 and the width is 1.3 inches. Now, like I mentioned, this is a fairly heavy gun. Empty, it is 2 pounds, 14.5 ounces. This is more of a competitive gun. Well, this is a competition gun. So expect it to be heavy, expect it to be large, and if you're okay with carrying that, then by all means, depending on how you're, of course, carrying the gun, what type of holster you're using, what kind of gun you come from in the past, because I do feel that people who are normally used to a full-size 1911 are moving into double-stack 9mm Obviously, 9mm has come a long ways ballistically, and of course the capacity. This is 17 plus 1 is undeniably something you need to take into consideration, especially if you're used to a single stack. Being that this is only 1.3 inches wide, this is just about as wide as a 1911. The thumb safety is pretty large, and that's what's going to make this 1.3 inches wide. Everything else is fairly slim, which I do really like, including that beaver tail on the back. Now, as far as price goes, we are in Q1 of 2021, the great gun pandemic. These I have seen vary in price between about $1,875 to $2,000, even a little bit more than that. So I would expect, if you're looking at this gun, budget around $1,950 just to be kind of in the middle ground there, because you'll probably find them in that range. That's what I would expect, and it is so worth it, in my opinion. I'll tell you why here. Now, we took this gun to the range. Let me share with you my findings. This gun shoots incredibly smooth, and we'll go over some of the reasons why. But we did our usual 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards. Now, the idea with this is to do 5 shots in 2 seconds, okay? Kind of a rapid fire situation. The 3-yard grouping was 1.3 inches, nice tight group. The 5 yards was 1.1 inch, 7, 2.2, and the 10 yards was 5.6, and that was because of this guy. And I remember at the range, I was like, oh man, I totally shot that one low, and I knew it. I knew it. Right when I pulled the trigger on that second one, it was going to be down low. The rest of it, not too bad. Not too bad. Had, this one not gone so low, this group of 4 right here was actually 2.7. As usual, the groups exponentially get larger the further you go out, right? But these groups are fantastic, and the gun shoots so well. Of course, very reliable. You can see why CZ, as far as competition guns, is basically running the market right now. And I mean, these are such good guns that people are making pretty much a knockoff of it, and they're still selling them at a decently, relatively high price. And even those guns are fantastic. I mean, well, when you're making a copy of a tier 1 gun, you're probably going to end up pretty darn good. So that'll tell you right there. I mean, it's good. Let's talk about this gun from the top to the bottom like we usually do, and we'll start at the sights and work our way down to the magazines here. Up top, you're going to find your front fiber optic sight. I like that this fiber optic sight is small. I get some guns in my hands where the fiber optic sight is really big, and as the target goes out further, it is easy to pick up, but as the target goes out further, that front sight takes up more and more of the target. And this being a nice small front sight, it is very easy to pick up, but I like that it's more precise. There is some serrations in the back of that sight to cut down that glare. And on the rear sight, this is adjustable, but it's not a big, monstrous rear adjustable sight. I like that a lot. And I like how they take it to pretty much the very end of the slide to give you the longest sight radius that you pretty much can get. There's serrations on the rear of that sight as well, and cut down that glare. Really nice as far as that is done. This particular model does not have an optic cut on it, which, of course, if you are considering doing a optic on yours, I would consider getting a model that has the optic cut already done on there, or of course take it into a gunsmith and have them mill it in. Let's go into the slide. This slide is my love-hate relationship with the gun. Let me tell you what I love about this slide. I love the fit. Super solid, super tight. These are hand fitted, and they did a fantastic job on this. The machining is done incredibly well. You can see it on the left side has the CZ Shadow 2. Beautiful. The serrations over the top where the sights are, running the length of the slide, just looks fantastic. They did an incredible job machining this. The fit, the finish, gorgeous. Love it. The other thing that I love about this is it's unique in that the slide sits inside of the frame versus over the top of the frame. And that's going to reduce the mass of the slide moving, which is going to make it a softer shooting, more smooth, fluid feel when you're shooting this gun. They did a just incredible job on this. And that leads me to my dislike, is the slide is very small. So getting a nice positive grip on that slide to, say, do a press check or manipulate the slide using the rear serrations, what I found myself doing is I'd go over the top and I'd actually, my thumb and my index finger would go past the serrations down into the frame. That is something that I would have to get used to, but that is the one thing that I was just like, I wish that there was just more meat to it for me to be able to get a good positive grip on and not have to consciously say, look at it. I could just almost by second nature grab it and just rip back that slide. The slide weight on there, as you can see, is fairly light. I would say that this is pretty much comparable to my P320 Legion. So if you like how light that slide is, but you want something, of course, that's going to be metal on metal, and maybe you even love the look of this gun more. I'm a huge 1911 fan, so I love the look of this gun, and the functionality of it is very similar. That's one thing that I would say is just get enough time with that slide there to get used to it, because it is very small. Let's talk about the barrel real quick. On the CZ Shadow 2 Orange, they have upgraded the front bushing on the barrel, and they have completely polished that barrel, making this for a very smooth operation. Again, increasing your accuracy over the standard Shadow 2. They did fit and finish amazing on this. Cannot complain at all. Let's jump into the controls here real quick. So as you can see, this is a hammer fired gun, so you got your hammer on the back. The safeties, they are ambidextrous. On the right side of the gun, the safety does not stick out like it does on the left. So for you lefties, this is something that you'll probably want to look into upgrading or changing out to something larger. Obviously, the red is going to mean that the safety is disengaged. Now, the safety does not operate unless the hammer is back. There you have it. Very easy to manipulate. If you're used to a 1911, you'll be very used to this right out of the box. Over here on this side, you have your slide lock release. The slide lock release is very easy to use. I like it a lot. In both, locking back the slide, but also releasing that slide forward. Super easy to just drive that gun forward and have your thumb rested on that safety there. The ergonomics on this gun are fantastic. Another one of the things that they enhanced on the orange model is the magazine release. You can see that is nice and big. You're going to get a nice positive feel on there. You can swap that over to the right side of the pistol for you lefties, so no problem there. Hitting that magazine release from a firing position is fairly easy to do if you have medium to small size hands, because it comes back. If it was me and I had a Shadow 2 that did not have that enhanced mag release, I would absolutely upgrade to it. Let's jump into the trigger real quick here. This is a double action, single action trigger. On the double action, this is about 7.5 pounds. So not a super heavy trigger, but it's moderately heavy. On the single action though, it's just under 3 pounds. It is phenomenal. So we'll go ahead and do some quick trigger pulls here so you can see. We'll start off on the double action. The trigger is awesome. It's metal, it's polished, it looks really good. It's got a nice curve to it, nice trigger feel to it. And in that double action, you're pretty much gonna hit that 7.5 pounds all the way through till that hammer drops. So we'll go ahead and give that a pull back. All right, there we are. The reset though, so if you're not familiar with double action, single action, your first trigger pull with the hammer up is going to be heavier, about on this particular gun, about 7.5 pounds. Now, the next trigger pull and thereafter, since the hammer is already back, is going to be lighter, and the reset is awesome. It's nice and short, nice, crisp, audible reset. Beautiful there. Look at that. Let me show you again. Look at this reset. Super light, and it is about it's just under 3 pounds. It's amazing. So you can, I mean, there's nothing that you need to do to this trigger out of the box, which is fantastic. As far as the frame goes, like I mentioned earlier, this is a full metal frame. You do have the accessory rail up front, and that frame is going to go all the way to the end of that front slide there, and that slide sits inside that frame, so it's nice and tall. Really fantastic machining they did on this. The checkering on the front strap, the checkering on the rear strap. I mean, the machining when it comes to the grip, the frame looks beautiful. The coating is awesome. It's a incredibly good looking gun. So not just functionality wise, but aesthetics are just rock solid. Back here on the grip, these are aluminum grips. You can get all sorts of different colors. The orange is kind of cool. It's one of those things that everybody knows you have the upgraded version when they see those grips. And the grips are going to match the base plates on the magazine, so it's all very cohesive. Now, originally I was not the biggest fan of aluminum grips. I like G10 grips, but this is great. It's not going to change my mind over to aluminum grips, but I am absolutely okay with these aluminum grips. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with the fit, the finish, and the grip isn't too aggressive. It certainly is aggressive. Like if your hands are sweaty, I mean, remember, this is a competition gun. Your hands are sweaty and you're firing quickly, running. This is going to have plenty of grip. But at the same time, I've experienced more aggressive grips than this with carry guns, and I think that these are fantastic right out of the box. Take a look down here on this grip. You can see how it comes out just a little bit there to keep your hand nice and high. Speaking of keeping your hand nice and high, you have this really nice high undercut there. That undercut with the beaver tail comes nice and high as well, so you're really getting your hand way up into the gun, which again makes for a very smooth shooting gun. You have some grip here on the front of that trigger guard. I do wish that there was a small little hook there at the front and maybe a little bit of a finger groove here on the bottom of that trigger guard so I could get my support hand nice and high as well, but no complaints as far as how this is finished out from the factory. As far as your magazines go, you can certainly get extended base plates. This particular model comes with the 17 rounders, but I have seen Shadow 2 oranges come with the extended base plates, and you can certainly get even bigger ones aftermarket wise as well. So if you're using this gun not only as your, carry gun, but also you're doing competition shooting with it, maybe you have your extended magazine for your home defense where you don't have to be concerned about the gun printing, then you can certainly get larger magazines for this. Overall, this is just a beautiful gun. Everything about it, the fit, the finish, the shooting capabilities of this gun. There are a ton of people that swear by the CZ Shadow 2, and I can certainly see why. The big thing I would tell you is, one, the size and the weight. Remember, it's a competition gun if you do plan on carrying this on your person. The other thing is if you feel that these serrations and the size of the slide is going to be an issue, get the gun in your hand and really feel it out. See if that's going to actually be an issue. I know with a lot of people, they don't mind. With folks that are used to having a larger slide, it is one of those things that it can be the make or break for them, as much as they may love everything else about the gun. So that's my take on this firearm here. Now, if this is something that you want to get, visit the folks over at Northwest Armory. You can go to nwarmory.com, order the gun, have it shipped to your local FFL, or do an in-store pickup. As far as the targets go, visit xhunttargets.com, order up some of those awesome reactive targets. And if you'd like to be a Patreon supporter of the channel, we would greatly appreciate your support. Go down into the description below. You can find a link to our Patreon page and support the channel in whatever's comfortable. You can also get entries into our quarterly giveaway and get exclusive content with our Beyond the Black Shirt subscription to see other awesome firearm stuff that is not featured on the Concealed Carry channel. But other than that, you guys, thanks for joining us today. Make sure to hit that like, hit the subscribe, and share the channel with your friends, family, and other enthusiasts. We will see you next time here on the Concealed Carry channel. Test 1 2. 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 Sí. Y Mexico. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this review real quick. Gigantic case. It's surprisingly large. Very big. We'll start with what's on it. Okay, no frills paperwork. The manual is in about 800 different languages. I'm kidding. This thing is so fucking big, it's hard to... It's taking up the whole table. Let's talk about our experience at the range. Why am I doing this? I'm showing you. Okay. See, it is enormous. Big, giant footprint to be able to manipulate. Big, giant footprint. Jesus, where am I coming up with these shit? Let's see. I guess that's my take on it, right? Yeah.
Great.
Bye. Bye-bye. Okay.